Mark, you can get talking. I can admit people as we go.
Okay, perfect.
So you're not sitting there clicking the button.
Just click and admit all, admit all. It's good
Yeah.
it's good to see everyone. Welcome to our May partner roundtable. I cannot believe it's been a year since we started doing these. I don't know when our first one actually was, but I think it was around May. Might have been April, I don't know. So happy 1 year anniversary to our partner roundtables. It's good to see some people who've been with us for the whole ride so far. We are packed today. We have a full agenda. So we are going to move through this at a pace, as JP would say, and we will cover a lot of ground. So just some housekeeping things here. We'll give everyone a couple minutes to join before we really get into it, but there might be some new faces here, might be some people joining for the first time. So this is our Hats AI roundtable team. We have Jimmy, JP, Kelcye, and myself. We're really excited to bring some new information to everyone. And another important bit of information is that this is a roundtable. This is not a webinar. This is not us talking at you. We want you to talk in the chat, ask questions, raise your hand, anything that comes up. If we don't get to it on this call, we will follow up over email. So just put any questions that you have in the chat, and we'll try to get to everything here. But if not, we're not going to ignore it. We will get to you separately. So, man, it looks like people are still filtering in through the waiting room. So I guess while people are joining, we'll start with a quick poll, and let me get this poll up and running. 3 or 4 times this week, I heard people say that they were done with Google and that they were only going to be using AI to answer all of their Google questions. So one of the poll questions is, are you using AI or Google when you have questions about things? And secondly, there was a report put out. Jimmy posted about it on LinkedIn about customers using AI and shadow AI. So I'm curious, what percentage of your customers do you think are using any kind of AI? Um, yeah, two questions that I'm personally interested in the answers.
What do
But
you use, Mark?
I use AI
Yeah,
almost exclusively.
yeah.
Uh, if there's something really specific that AI is not finding for me, I guess I can use Google, but it's 99% of the time I'm using AI.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So that being said, I think enough people have filtered in now. We're going to really kick things off. While you're filling that out, I'm going to hand it over to Jimmy to lead us through our partner spotlight for this month. We're really pleased to announce we have Shane Danton with us, the Director of Operations at Restech Information Services down in Louisiana. And Jimmy, I will hand it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Can't believe it's been a year of roundtables. I just had a flashback. I'm pretty sure Tim was on the first one. Um, and I saw his face join a second ago. So thank you for that. But today I'm here to talk with Shane. Shane, how are you doing? Great to get you on here. And it's been fun working with you and your team. How's it going?
It's good. Really, enjoying it. Love seeing the progress and stuff that y'all are building in the tool. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I remember talking with you guys. You guys had just signed up or got started a little before IT Nation, and I met one of your team members there and a bunch of questions. And you guys have been great about working with our product team and giving good feedback. And you've driven a lot of the updates that we've done over the past few months. So we appreciate that. And we'll keep trying to deliver for you guys. But with that being said, I think it'd be good to jump in and maybe we could start with some background on you like Restech and like how you guys are using AI in your own business specifically, or how you thought about it, maybe like the evolution in the past couple months.
Sure. Yeah. So we're based out of New Orleans. We have about 40 employees. And kind of as AI's gone over the last year or so, really trying to kind of dig in to figure out how do we use it and where do we use it. And, all the vendors are talking about it, but, it's tough to really see like what are they actually doing with it. So, so we've done that obviously in partnering with you guys just to figure out how to bring that to the client. And obviously I think it's a good way. So that's where we're starting in the conversations of what are they doing, how are they using it, um, and trying to engage in those conversations. And New Orleans is a little bit always behind the eight ball, as far as keeping up with the trends of the world and the country and stuff like that. But we're starting to see kind of an uptick in people asking, and how do you do this and how do you use it? So it's been good. It's keeping us busy.
Yeah, and I'm curious about that too, specifically like with your customer base. Like when you look across, I guess your whole customer base, where do you think the temperature is with AI interest, AI readiness? And then like are there certain types of clients that are like more into AI or talking about it more willing to have the conversation than others? Search
Yeah,
changed a lot the past couple of months.
yeah. I think it does change, and it kind of goes up and down. Again, I still think for us it's been still kind of rudimentary. Like, let me just kind of go ask it questions, and let me send it some information and see what it can do. And you know, using kind of the open models and what's out there, and obviously not the private and secure piece, right? It kind of drives a lot of the conversation. So that's kind of what we've been taking it. And as far as industry goes, um, the biggest that I've seen so far, insurance and legal is kind of the two at the moment. Um, but I can see we've talked to some manufacturing companies, they have interest. Um, and I think AI is for me, what I see is more the jumping off point to get into integrating and connecting all of the other pieces and using AI as the core.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Um, I'm interested too on your take between like what you're seeing now with AI and like previous tech waves. Like I know that you know in the MSP business or in the IT field in general, through like move to cloud, sort of like people taking cybersecurity seriously, all of that stuff. Like, are you seeing some of the same stuff? Is it moving faster? Like, what's your right? You're on the front lines. What do
Yeah,
you
it's
what's your
to
experience been?
me, yeah, to me, I think it's moving faster and the uptick is faster because it's more user centric and user focused and easier for, say the layperson, if you will, to wrap their head around it. Um, where, security, it's like nobody cares at the end of the day. Like, yeah, they want it, but it's a completely different take because it's not relevant to them, where it's like they can see some actual use in their business or in their work role in their daily life. And so I see that where it's the biggest uptake.
Yeah. Could you dive in a little bit on you mentioned insurance customers. I know that you had like a use case that you guys have built, or just pick any use case really, on how you guys are using the platform or using AI in general with customers.
Yeah, I'll do a quick screen share if I can.
Oh, cool.
Let me know if that works.
Yep.
Do you see my screen? Okay.
Yep.
So we had a client recently basically come through, and they get this kind of weird, funky insurance application that they're trying to quote, right? And it's nasty. It's got check boxes all over the place. And so what they're doing is they're outsourcing this to, I think they said somebody in India, right? They're going through and having them manually read it, do data entry into, their insurance quoting tool. So that's where it started the conversation. And so, I said, okay, give me some samples, give me an example of what you're doing, what you want from an input and output perspective. And so I started it here in the chat. It's okay, give me this. Here's the document. Just say, So I'd coded some of the stuff of like, hey, give me the output in a certain format, give me the name and the summary of what you see, those kind of things. And so it worked through and processed that seemed to give me a good sense of output um, from the document. Then I was able within the chat obviously go back and ask it questions to confirm it's giving me the right client name, the right address, the right phone number, all those kind of things. And so then we took that, converted that into, the workflow to essentially do the same thing, but simplify the process to where essentially all users can do this. And it's the client said they get about 25 of them a day that they process. So obviously there's a way to, speed that up, get the same output, get it in a format. And their first, again, kind of taking that small stepped approach, the crawl, walk, run that y'all talk about all the time, is they want to take this where it's easier for somebody to just copy paste it, put it into their system instead of reading through every single form, right? And then I see that as that's that jumping off point of here's the base AI. Okay, now how do we automate? How do we integrate? How do we connect APIs and automate that whole process kind of end to end? And so we're still in the early phases with the client and the testing process, but this is one of the things that, for me, I was even impressed. I'm like, yeah, it really did a good job looking
Yeah,
through
and
that
those are
nasty form.
non-OCR documents, right? Like
Correct.
it looked like it. Yeah, it's just straight scans of like little grainy.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I'm super pumped. I think the client is like, yep, that's great. That's really cool. Okay, we're going to go test it. We're going to go verify that the data is right and that we're getting what we want and the right output that we want.
Yeah.
So, small wins, but good, good things and good opportunity, good upside, I think, from what we can do with it.
Yeah, yeah, and somebody mentioned in the chat about API functionality. Is that available? So our app, like this app that he is using, is like you can query that from the API. We are releasing soon in our actual workflow builder where you can add external APIs. I'll share more of that later in the sort of roadmap and recent releases discussion. Um, but Shane, this has been great. I think, maybe like quickly we could go through maybe like, experience working with us, caution for other MSPs, and then or just caution in general, I guess, and advice you have for the other MSPs on this call, if you don't mind combining my last three questions into one.
Yeah, I mean, working with y'all so far has been great. Obviously you're responsive, you're available. So I think that to me, that's always something I look for in a vendor. You're kind of listening to different things that we're saying. Obviously, you're running your business your way, and I don't think anybody's here to kind of stop that. But you're taking feedback of things that could be useful. Um, and as far as getting them, rolled out and or implemented into the system, speed seems to be a pretty reasonable turnaround. So I think all of that's great. Um, what was your secondary follow-up question?
Just maybe advice for the other MSPs here.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think y'all hit it on the head with crawl, walk, run. Like, I believe that. I talk to clients about it. I tell them like you just have to start. You just have to figure it out. You got to play with it. You got to see what it can do. It's hard to grasp and look, I mean, I want to jump in and I want to boil the ocean, as soon as we can, but I know that that's not feasible. And so I've spent a lot of time just playing with it and building out different apps and testing stuff and trying to use some of the API and create automations, just test environment stuff. Because when you start having those conversations with clients, that to me is where the biggest opportunity
Yeah,
around AI, using AI with getting it integrated into the systems that they're using on a daily basis. That's what unlocks the magic to me. So that we're just trying to learn that. We got a couple of different people here, playing with it. We actually just hired on a part-time contractor who's done AI development and API stuff to help, build us up and train us and teach us around the how to make those things connect and talk and work efficiently. So just again, just get started, just play with it. Any tool, but using in that space and obviously trying to connect it back to your clients and what they need and what they want.
Yeah, that's great. Shane, thank you. This has been amazing. I'm sure, if people have questions, maybe they connect with you on LinkedIn. Shane's a great guy, and definitely appreciate having you as a partner. And thank you for spending a couple minutes with us, sharing your wisdom and experience.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much, Shane. Thank you, Jimmy. We are going to pick back up here with some partner resources. Uh, there are a lot of new partners with us, and just it's always important to go over the basics. If you log into admin.hats.ai and you don't see this button that says go to user view, uh, you haven't finished setting up your tenant and you're missing out on half of the features in Hats. So we'll put a link in the chat with a 3-minute video about how to set up your subdomain. Just takes a couple minutes, and this button should pop up. That'll unlock the chat, workflows, a lot of other stuff that you might be missing. The other part is invite your team. Uh, we see a lot of MSPs who get set up, get configured, and the rest of their team isn't invited. And the people who you think might be AI power users might not be. And the people who you'd be surprised, they're the ones who are really going to take this and run with it. So it's important to just get everyone invited. Don't hold back. Invite the rest of your team, and get them in and using. We've seen a lot of office admins become the AI power users, AI champions. It's really cool to see. Also, know where to go to get help. There's a lot of resources that we have. First is Roundtables, and you're already here, so check that one off. We have office hours twice a week, which is a great place for MSPs to come and have get questions answered by our team, but also by other MSPs. Levels 1 through 4 in the learning portal. JP just put a link to our docs site. Our AI agent, Lark Meeper, can answer almost any question you have. And then we have a Discord channel. So if you need links to any of these, we'll provide those. But there are plenty of places for you to go and get support with your account. On the learning portal side, there's a new course. It's really short. It's like 15 minutes. It's now available. We released the AI-powered web search. We got a lot of questions about it. And so this just goes through how it works at a high level, real-life use cases for it, and then some prompts for AI web searches. No quizzes, no assignments in this one. It's just straight information, some prompts, some use cases to give you a better idea of how it works. And then coming soon, we'll have a mini 10-minute training on mitigating hallucinations. We've gotten a ton of questions about that as well. So how to spot them and how to prevent them as much as you can with AI. And also Prompt Engineering 3 focused specifically on workflows will be coming out. And we are very fortunate today to have a use case that we're going to look at specific to MSPs. We were running a little friendly competition leading up to this roundtable. Everyone who submitted gave really good use cases, so you're all winners, and you're all going to get some sort of a thank you for submitting your use cases. But the one that we wanted to highlight today is from Dr. Jared Nisley of Fizen Technology. It's a ticket sentiment analysis plus. It does a lot to save time, improve relationships, and get better results. So I'm going to stop sharing, and Jared, if you'd mind sharing your screen.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mark. Can everyone see it now? We're good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, thanks for having the opportunity to share what we've been working on. We've genuinely been enjoying the Hats platform and the automations and the various API calls you can make to it. This is a recent implementation we did. It helps to monitor a lot of activity occurring within our ticketing system. As we all know, clients are submitting gobs of information to you every day, a lot of it via email to either, ConnectWise or Autotask or whatever PSA tool you're using. It's really hard to keep up with it all, at least beyond, closing tickets. It can be challenging to really be aware of what clients are, happy or frustrated or upset or different things you need to accomplish, like keeping agreements updated. There's just a lot of noise. So this is an actor diagram that shows one of the implementations, one of the integrations we've done between our servers and systems and HATS AI. The actor on the left, the little stick figure, um, and that's about as good as my artwork gets, by the way. I'm great at stick figures. Anything more than that, though, is beyond me. But that represents a customer. So we all have customers submitting tickets to us. We might be using different PSA tools, but the customers are submitting requests in. Technicians are making responses back to those customers. What we wanted to do is we wanted to extract that raw data. So we've built some jobs that run on a reoccurring basis. We host some of our own servers. We're really big fans of Linux. So we have some cron jobs running now on a regular basis. They extract that ticketing information from our PSA tool and store it in a database. And we've begun sending extracts of that ticketing information to the HATS. I just called it the AWS AI model, but this is a HATS automation call that sends ticketing information to an automation, and we're prompting it, right? We're asking questions about those tickets, things like, would changes from these conversations require updates to our agreements, or how's the customer feeling? Are they happy? Are they sad? Because we want to get that information in front of managers to potentially, right, follow up with that customer after the ticket's been closed, just making sure that their needs were met. And this final tranche, this final vendors step, this is something we've begun to do as well. I won't be able to show it to you today. I just don't have the time, but we're also leveraging the platform to help, keep our agreements up to date, which is a constant struggle for service providers. But this is the flow of data. So between our customers, the PSA tool, there's some custom software we've written that's making API calls between our PSA tool and the HATS platform to kind of push and pull data. And then we're able to extract information from it. So I'm going to switch my screen here. This is one of the kind of dashboard reports, if you will, that our executive team has access to. It's not showing kind of all the tickets. It's just showing for the previous week what tickets either likely need agreement updates performed due to the outcome of the ticket, and then what was the customer's feelings? What's their sentiment? And you can get a pretty quick look here. We've got customers just like you that are, some are really busy, some are harder to keep happy, others are easier to keep happy. But this gives our executive team a very quick way to say what happened last week. And, if you roll over some of these columns, they're able to get more contextual information on, why is the AI model saying that the customer was frustrated? Why does it say that we might need to update the agreement? And this has just been a great tool for us to review on a weekly basis. A manager can spend just, a half hour in this tool and get a complete, awareness on how the previous week was, whether agreements need to be updated. And then, some of these are false positives, right? It's not perfect because the tone that customers use in their tickets tend to always be a little on the urgent, frustrated side. But it lets you very quickly say, all right, how are these folks doing? And yeah, it's helped us with our recurring revenue, keeping agreements more updated, and then proactively reaching out to customers to follow up on, how we did on closing their tickets.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's it in a snapshot. I don't want to take up too much time, but yeah, this is a web-based app that is reading from that database that's being informed and enriched from, the HATS AI automation.
Thank you so much for sharing this, Jared. And
Yeah.
like I said, this is one that we wanted to show you because this is we talk about crawl, walk, run. This is probably sprinting, and sprinting at a whole mile. I think this is a really really cool advanced use case. But everyone who submitted your use cases, thank you for that, and we'll share those out a little bit later. I'm gonna switch gears now, and we're gonna hand it over to Kelcye for Kelcye's very first roundtable segment called Kelcye's Corner.
Wow. I get my own segment, and I did, just in case, bring a hat. I know sometimes I am hard to recognize when I'm not wearing a hats t-shirt or standing at the booth. Um, Hello. I have really enjoyed seeing all these use cases and learning all there is to learn here. I have just a couple things to share. I won't take up everyone's time. First, we are building a newsletter. We are partner first. We are always here to give you as much information and education that we can. So look out for that in your inboxes next week. And with that, I would love any participation or thoughts, anything I can get from any of y'all. You can always email me. It's just my first name at hats.ai. You can find me on LinkedIn. And let me know what you'd like to see in newsletters. Wait till the first one though. Like let's see how that goes first. And yeah, we have on that same note, No Dumb Questions has been a segment that Mark and I have been doing on LinkedIn. It kind of started out as when I first started and had questions, I was asking Mark everything all the time, and then also what people were asking me, and now it's just become a fun little video series. So if you have questions that you get a lot and you would just like more cohesive answers to, or if you just want to listen to me ask Mark your questions, send them my way. I'm happy to force him to answer them on camera. Lastly, June in events, you'll be able to find us at PAX 8 Beyond in Denver and Roost's Flow event in Tampa. So if you're going to either of those, let us know. Come by, grab some swag, say hi, and I'll see you there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kelcye. And we are gonna hand it over to JP. JP, I'll let you share your screen.
But Mark, why don't I jump in and just go right to product,
Perfect.
and then we'll go back to JP after. Is that okay, JP?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Uh, Here we go. All right. All right. So we were busy last month. Um, in the last 30 days or so, we added an AI editor to the email template. So if you want to update it, you just use AI to do it. We added AI power search and workflows. We added a web scraping step, which is pretty cool. You could already kind of do it in the AI powered search, but we made it a lot simpler. View workflow run history, a lot of filtering, a lot of new features there. End customer API keys. We enabled MFA for end customers in a much easier way where they can do it in their dashboard. I have an update. Somebody asked about the SSO MFA. I have an update on that. I'll share at the end. We added Claude 4 model family, which is great. I am a big Claude user. It's my go-to model, and a new LLM selector. So let me jump right in. I actually don't think I put it here, but we also did a massive refactor of our chat and did tons of updates to it. So I'll start with the chat. Like we took a lot of feedback from users, knocked out a lot of canny requests too. It's been a lot of like quality of life things in terms of like the chat resizing, the sidebar being more responsive, pinning chats, being able to drag the chat window so you can put in large prompts, editing chats, renaming them, going through the history and mass deleting and filtering and all of that kind of stuff. This is like we're doing two big revisions to the chat. So we actually have another one coming in the next 30, 60 days, where we're going to add a lot more features, especially around removing sort of like making it clear what's happening in the background when you upload files. Like, is it searching through it? Is it pulling back relevant paragraphs? What's happening with AI powered search? Is it, viewing websites? What sources is it viewing? All that kind of stuff. And then there's going to be a lot related to tools coming into the chat as well. We also added a new LLM selector. This was last night, so a lot of you probably haven't seen it yet. But we took a lot of feedback from customers and partners and their end customers. It was just getting overwhelming seeing all of the models there and not really knowing the difference of them. I encourage you to play around with this. We made different categories based on, what models are, advanced, how fast they are, how much credits they use, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to continue adding to that. And we're also probably going to add an auto select option. The team, Mark doesn't even know about this yet, but we started working with our own fine-tuned model to basically very quickly pick the right model for the job. So hopefully we'll be able to get that in there soon too. So you don't even have to worry about it. You just start your chat and it picks the right model for the job. But it's definitely a lot less overwhelming. It's a lot easier to like sort of pick models and choose what you're going to use. A lot better for customers too. So very happy about that one. The new models, Claude 4 Opus and Claude 4 Sonnet. Um, uh, a lot of people, Claude 3.5 Sonnet was sort of like a one of the main go-to AI models for a long time for a lot of people who are doing more technical stuff, especially myself. I would say that Claude 3.5, then Claude 3.5 V2, then Claude 3.7 were all sort of like my go-to models. And then so Claude, um, it's sort of weird the way that they did it. Claude Opus is actually the highest model or the model family that Anthropic offers. So like they're like top model. They're like sort of like it's not like a reasoning model, but what you would consider like their most premium ones are actually Opus. But something weird happened when Claude 3.5 Sonnet came out. It actually surpassed Claude 3 Opus's capabilities. So a lot of people might think that Claude Sonnet is the more premium one because of using 3.5 and 3.7 Sonnet in the past, when actually Opus is. But I think Claude Sonnet 4 is it's very, very capable. It's very good. I would definitely recommend using it. Um, Oh, another thing I forgot to mention on the LLM selector, I don't know if I have it here shown very well, but we have featured models at the top too. So like there's just like three of them. Like, it's like Grok 3, Claude 4 Sonnet, and GPT 4.0 right now, 4.1 as well. So we're constantly switching that, and it's what we recommend as a company for people to use. Gemini as well. I guess there's like five. Um, I'll keep going here. We added a web scraper step to the workflows as well. So if you could do this before, if you add AI powered search, which is also new to the workflows in the past month, you can actually just tell it like go look up this URL. But we've came up with a just completely prescriptive step on if you get a URL, go look up the website. Um, It'll work for most websites. Some websites will block scrapers, and they may, not work exactly. But the providers we've used are very good and can get pretty much most websites. you can like prescribe it as an input. You can also use an output of another step. So an example is you can have AI do a search for someone's website, and then you can actually look up that website. So like an example workflow that I put out into community apps last night or community workflows last night is research when like a new lead comes in or something like that. You put in the company name, it goes Google searches, you can specify it to their product page or their contact page or something like that, and then pull back the specific information that you need. So super useful. I will say too, we added some sort of validation, some auto validation as well. So even if an AI model comes back with like, sure, the website is HTTPS Hats AI, it'll still like the step will still be able to handle that and look up the website. So we accounted for some LLM sort of uh, you know uncertainty there as well. Another thing related to workflows is the workflow run history. So, I've seen like feature requests for app builder and stuff in the past, and we want to make sure we really did this well with workflows, especially because long workflows can take a while to run, especially if they are doing call outs and looking up websites and stuff. So, in your workshop, you can click on run history and it'll see all of the runs specific to you as a user. In the future, we may give the ability to share run history for a specific workflow across the team. But right now, it's all unique to you. You can add what specific workflow it is. You can see every input, every output that happened. It makes it a lot easier to test, debug, use it in mass. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's definitely very useful, especially you can just like kind of run it or run a few and step away and come back. Um, I mentioned the AI email template editor. I don't think a lot of people knew that you could do this, but we're going to add other email templates in here that the platform sends, and then eventually the ability for you to use your own email addresses too. We're just taking it piece by piece. But right now for the OTP reset codes, like the password reset codes, if you want to self-brand it to your website, you could just go in there, give the AI little box information you want. Like in the example that I put, I just said rewrite this in leet speak. But you could say, rewrite this specific to my business or co-branded or whatever, and it'll go write all the HTML for you. So that's in the admin dashboard settings, email templates. Just create a new one. The only one available is OTP code right now, but we'll add more in the near future. I went backwards. We added the ability for end customers to add API keys. Also in their account, they'll be able to enable MFA as well. For the Force MFA for tenants, people asked about that last roundtable. I told them, we'd get on that. I would expect that in the next week or two. So we're coming out with a new settings page. I'll cover in a second, but you'll be able to set that up on a per tenant basis. And if they're not enrolled in MFA when they log in, it'll force them to. And that brings me to here. So what's next, right? We're going to add Gemini 2.5 Pro, O3 and O4 Mini. We're going to add the integrations tab in a week or so. And the Office 365 persistent integration, which I'll sort of show a quick demo of that in a second too. We also got a lot of feedback. People wanted GPT style agents. So we're going to be releasing that as well. And then the required MFA and the default and disabled LLM settings. All of the things with the next sticker on it are currently in our dev or QA, and we're just putting the final touches on them. So they're things confident on. We're going to be releasing fairly soon over the next couple weeks. Things below it might even sneak in this month. Not sure exactly, but we are rewriting Adele, the phone agents, basically from scratch. So Adele V2 is on its way. So the first version of V2 will probably be feature parity of V1, and just a lot snappier, a lot easier to like use it, like less errors in the UI or bugginess or whatever. We looked at it. People have been using our phone agents a lot the past 2 months. A bunch of MSPs have started using it for their help desk, and thankfully we assigned one of our senior engineers to go in and work on it full time for 2 months and really improve it, along with support with some other engineers in our organization. But I'm really excited about that. We're also going to add some credit explorer too. So being able to put in like sample requests and see how many credits it would use for every different model, and all the credit prices for all the models, all that kind of stuff. And then one feature that I'm really excited about, that might be 2 months. I don't know exactly yet. Is Word and PDF document manipulation and workflows. So being able to upload a Word template, and being able to do find and replace steps and replace it with AI outputs. Um, Being able to autofill a PDF. Being able to use or like fill in a fillable PDF. Um, Being able to take a Word template that exists and download your outputs, or your generated workflows into it. So that is all stuff that we're building. I suspect to either at the same time as the release or soon after, you'll get stuff like download outputs as PDF and Word. It might come in like a follow up one. And then, of course, custom requests as a step two, and file libraries. We're working on all that. Um, but to talk about integrations, we're at a point now where we've done like most of the hard work. We set up I've talked in previous roundtables about how we wrap how we set up custom MCP servers to run for every individual user, where um, literally when you use like AI powered search, or something like that, an MCP server is runs on the fly specific to you, containerized to you, which it's a different conversation for probably a different audience, but it unlocks a lot of power for us to be able to spin up integrations very quickly. So you're going to see over the next couple weeks a new tab, and I'll pause for a sec. Oh, where'd it go? A new tab, the integrations tab. So it'll be in your individual workspace, and then in integrations, and you'll see this list start to grow pretty quickly over the next couple months. So the first one that we're adding, and we like pain, I guess. All of you MSPs have worked with Microsoft a lot, and know that working with their libraries, their toolkits, their APIs can be very painful things to do. So we're like, let's just build the most complicated ones first. And then we'll come out and add all the integrations that are like, drop an API key in, and some of the API docs, and let MCP take care of the rest. So, this Microsoft, this is, forgive the tenant. This is in our dev server, one of our engineers. You'll be able to use OAuth to connect it in a persistent integration. So right now in the chat, when you use the AI power or the add from OneDrive, it's actually caching your OneDrive session in the browser. This is how it's done, like with ChatGPT and lots of other systems. But when you do in OAuth, when we have a persistent integration, we can use it for workflows. We can use it over the API. We can use it for things like that. So it becomes a lot more powerful. So with this first one that I've been using for a couple weeks, it's been pretty fun. Um, you can just in Outlook button will appear if you have your Office 365 email connected, and you'll be able to query through your email, ask it questions about your email, calendar invites, that kind of stuff. So we're starting with this, and we're gonna release pieces of it, including access my files remotely through OneDrive or SharePoint, Teams, all of the Microsoft ecosystem through Microsoft Graph. Through this round, we'll probably stop before admin settings. There are some examples of being able to like actually edit Azure and deploy users and that kind of stuff. But that's going to be down the road. We want to let that develop a little more. So you'll see these integrations come out. You'll see a couple of Microsoft integrations in a row, and then you'll see more consumer integrations in a fairly quick time period. So think like your HubSpots, your Salesforces, things that are very well supported. That they're like drop in an API key or OAuth, and then the plan over the next quarter or two really is to build out integrations and integrate them into the rest of the platform. So we have a lot coming, and I cannot I don't know if it's I don't know how to explain it very well, but we did the work to make it very easy, so we'll be able to add lots of integrations very quickly. There'll be tool selectors, be able to add specific integrations to specific agents, that kind of thing. Daniel had asked, can it send emails with the Outlook integration? Yes, it's capable. We've been testing it. We're unsure if we're going to turn on the ability to write emails and just if we want to leave it at read to start. But you ideally you'd be able to manage that in permissions. Is there a canny list of what integrations are planned? No, we'll get that updated though. Okay. Any questions before we go back to JP?
Yeah, I think it's important to stay in any questions if you have some folks. It feels like Jimmy, even we could do an Ask Jimmy section the next lots of questions there, and just maybe on maybe your view of the world. Jimmy, I was reading something today and they talked about the different horizons on AI and the horizon that's ahead of us right now. There's a lot of opportunity with obviously further developments as it goes. It's moving quickly, right? You've got to that as you just rightly said, the benchmark now where the platform is accelerating very, very quickly. So it's going to be exciting a couple of weeks as all this builds out, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And even just the capabilities of the AI models are getting, very, very, very good.
Right.
I actually think, Mark mentioned a course on hallucinations. I think that that's a shorter term problem in the AI scheme, and in a year or two, it will be like a thing that you don't really need to worry about anymore.
Mm.
But yeah, I could talk all day about that stuff. But I think we should go to you, JP, and let you
We,
um,
we could touch on some things here, and again, if anybody has any further questions on roadmap or product, you can bring us home at the end, Jimmy. And it's very, very hard to keep up unless you get started. And Jared talked about that at the beginning, and Shane, just get started. We have a very much an unfair advantage. And from that, we have the opportunity to speak to so many great MSPs, obviously all those on the call. So what we pulled together is what we're calling the partner activation playbook, which is hopefully you can see the screen, Mark. Good. Yep. I'll run through this very, very quickly, but we're going to make it available to everybody after this call. It's our view of the world today. It's just suggests there's three different components to this. One would be, how we're thinking about the speed and pace, and I'll cover that in a second. The middle segment I'll run through very quickly, which is effectively a talk track and a couple of messages that you can hand to your sales team. You do it yourself to open up opportunities with customers. And then lastly, that playbook. How should I think about rolling out AI? I just got off a call with a partner who's won't mind me sharing, is just turning it on for all 100 customers. And we're going to touch on that in a second. But it's exponential. It's exponential. It's not like cloud that was linear. It is moving tremendously quickly. End customers today want AI solutions. And in January, we talked about, it's ramping up. It's already started. The race has started for MSPs to take advantage of that. Some will, some won't. Some want to, some don't want to. But the ones that start now and begin offering, at least let your customers know you have this service and offering it out, they'll be the ones that'll be the default AI partner for their end customers. So really, how are you going to make money? Well, again, this is a whole piece, but just high level, there's initial recurring revenue that is available now throughout your customer base. Turning on AI as if it's a product will initially capture that revenue. There's an additional recurring revenue, which is going to come for lots of advisory services, and some of you are already touching in on that. And then obviously others are doing, through billable hours, maybe project-based work with your customers on AI. 2 and 3 is really going to expand, but right now today it's about getting that initial piece of revenue. I'm not going to go through this in real time, but the next few pieces are the key messages that we tend to deliver to an end customer. The first one is really around the security and easy conversation. The second one is, I think, the second piece, the second problem for our customers is adoption. How do we help you, Mr. Mrs. Customer, get all your employees to a level of proficiency in AI that it becomes a co-intelligence in their day-to-day? And how do I meet them where they are? Not everybody's at an equal footing right now. And that crawl, walk, run, Jared mentioned it, Shay mentioned it, many of you are really living this. How do I just get you started, build the foundations, and then iterate from there? Within that is education. Many of you have already gone through this, but you can deliver this out into your customers. It's part of the platform and the pathway for them to get started. And within this deck, we've pre-recorded use cases. We'll show a link now shortly on some of the use cases that are in the platform, categorized by sector. But these pre-recorded ones make it easy for maybe some of the sales folks to just show it in real time. And it's always better to show some live ones that you have built yourself, but this is maybe a step to making that easier. Lots of different examples and use cases in the platform. I think one of the main messages to any customer, whether MSP type activity down at the bottom or industry activity from left to right, it's easy to hard or easy to more effort. And as Jimmy talked about, some of the technologies moving so quick, it's going to get even easier. But beginning at the crawl phase, start with some simple use cases, and that playbook works. So turning on secure chat, making sure that they drive that adoption, having the senior leaders in your customers advocating for adoption and education is going to really set them up for success. Many of you have picked a couple of automations that you share with your customers, but ultimately making it easy for them to get started with some simple automations, and that then is something they can iterate on over time. The most important part, Jimmy, and you can jump in at any stage here yourself as we wrap up this. What we're going to show now is, again, not prescriptive, very much a framework. This is working today with many of you on the call. Some of you are very familiar with it. Others are maybe beginning to see it. How do I get across all my customers today? How do I make sure, number one, they know I have a service, and number two, I turn it on. And I do it in a way that builds capacity within my own team. So taking an example and crawl, walk, run again, how do I focus on the first 5 customers? The beachhead is the first 5. The 5 you can pick the phone up to and say, I want to turn this AI solution on. Will you help me work on getting it rolled out to your team? The initial revenue is there for you, but the real benefit is getting your team circled around this project, getting customers up and running. There's some early results, which is great. But what we would do is working with you, we would sit on those kickoff calls with the customers, help execute against the playbook, and then also working internally with your teams. This is, by the way, all built within the platform, making sure that there's certain things that are set in place. Simple things like, have you got the sales deck all branded? Everybody's working through the education. I mean, does the salesperson know who to go to set up the tenant? All of those basics are mapped out in checklists to support the first 5 getting up and running, and then obviously the customer, what are their focus on, and this is the quickest pathway to build competency in your team. We're investing a lot around this ourselves to help you get to a position, and your team to a position that you can execute on the next phase, which is ultimately driving more customers. One way to do that is use your unfair advantage. You have visibility into your customer's environment through DNS logs. There's an app in there. You want more information, reach out. You can ingest those logs and get a very, very nice report for your customers to show them the free and open AI use in their environment, and you have a solution in place. Some of you are actually, as I said, pushing it to all customers today, no question. We're month to month with you, so you just turn it on. Any customer does not want it, no problem. Turn it off, but they will accept the risk of any free and open tools in their environment. And you're, like you did with cyber, putting that risk back on the customers. Some MSPs are really working well with this. Others don't care to do it. That's fine. Ultimately, how quick can we get to a point where everybody, number one, knows you have that service, and number two, are up and running with it? So this framework, the playbook, is all something we want to push out. We've obviously in our platform have the packages that sets predictable pricing for your customers. We've lots of supports around that. You pick a package that makes sense for each of your customers, deploy it out. It's consistent, predictable pricing. Jimmy can touch on it if you wish as well, Jimmy, but everything is managed within the platform, the visibility into usage, and everything is rate limited as needed. So I wanted to give a little bit of a time for you to bring that home, Jimmy, but we'll share this link afterwards with, if it's helpful, go use it. The office hours is a good spot for us to pick up or reach out directly. But yeah, now is the time. The race started.
JP getting a lot of questions about how we get these slides, how we get the playbook. So let's make sure we send that to everyone who registered for the meeting. We're going to eventually add a lot of this stuff as well as like AI prospecting tools and AI pitching tools into the admin dashboard. So more on that later, but for the time being, we'll just make sure we send it out to everyone. No partner portal. It's going in the product.
I will, Jimmy, I think we have frameworks, we have playbooks, all that stuff's there, but there's only one thing to do. Get 5 customers started. That's the call to action. The race has started. Now is the time to push and go. Simple as that.
Agreed. All right. Thank you, everyone.